you make us proud. Please be seated. Now you can continue eating. Some may wonder, why is this such a big deal? It is a big deal. You're going to hear later what each of the inductee or medalist has accomplished. But generically, I can tell you a little bit what this honor is. Really, you're looking at the people who have made an impact either in academia or in business or in their community, or a combination of both. So in essence, you are really looking at someone that has done so much to benefit our society. So it is really not overstatement to say they are leaders in the profession, they are problem solvers, they are trailblazers, and they are also philanthropists, and they are civic leaders. They're also entrepreneurs, and some are also mentors. So they are very prominent, and that's not all. There's another important characteristic of our honorees. That is, they are all connected with OSU, with OSU CEAT. So if I have to choose two words to characterize our honorees, they are going to be impactful and OSU. So really, OSU people are impactful. So thank you for showing that OSU people are impactful. Now, I wanted to tell you a little bit how the process works. You may wonder, how do they get elected? This is how it works. Some in the audience, you may also become an inductee next year. So there's a nomination process. The nominations is done by either past inductees, or senior faculty, or administrator, or alumni. And we have a selection committee. I can tell you that's not the easiest job. Reading through the nomination package is only very small part of that challenge. The real challenge is there's so many good nominees, and to select very few is really challenging. I landed here not too long ago, and the committee was communicating with me. They were having really all this challenge to pick the best of the best. So after the committee make a recommendation, the dean will make it a final selection. And that's how we end up having the 6 honorees here tonight. Right now, at this moment, we have 172 inductees or members in the Hall of Fame. We have a smaller number of Lohmann medalists, which you will hear later when we go into the program. In probably about an hour, and that 172 will become 177. You may wonder, maybe the dean is not very good at mathematics. We have 6 honorees. Trust me, my mathematics is not too bad. We have 6 honorees. One of them is a medalist, but he was already inducted years back. So we are adding 5 Hall of Fame members tonight. So tonight, each of the honorees will receive a award. There's also going to be a break. If you walk to the Endeavor building, you're going to see some of the breaks where the inductee names are. So when we present a break to the inductee, we're also keeping a replica at the entrance of our Endeavor building. So you will be remembered. I wanted you'll be recognized and you'll be seen all the time. So I really wanted to thank all of you, particularly our Dean's Club members, our alumni, our donors, for your support. We accomplished a lot. We celebrate our honorees here, but we do that because of your support. Some of you probably will be wondering, the Hall of Fame has a home at the College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology. Can you tell us a little bit about the college? I think that's the right ask. I certainly wanted to share what is happening in the college. Once I start, you're probably going to be in a little bit trouble. I generally spend about 2 hours bragging about our college, okay? Just be patient. I probably should tell you a little bit about myself. Typically, I don't do that, but since I'm new, so it's probably thoughtful for me to tell you where I came from. I promise that will be fun. I started my tenure track as a faculty member at a small university in upstate New York that's called Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. So, thank you. That is because one of the honorees is also a graduate of that university. Congratulations to you. So after earning tenure, after becoming full professor, because of campus development, I was tricked to go to what faculty probably would say the dark side, and what we sometimes say the leadership track. So at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, I became the program director for mechanical engineering in a large department of mechanical, aerospace, and nuclear engineering. Afterwards, I was drafted to the University of Connecticut to co-lead the build-up of a cluster of faculty in sustainable energy. That was through the governor's investment of 3 chairs and 10 regular faculty members. So I was hired as one of the 3 chairs to co-build that sustainable energy cluster. Afterwards, I was drafted to be the department chair for mechanical and industrial engineering at Northeastern University in Boston, not in Oklahoma, not in Chicago, in Boston. Then, not too long ago, I went to University of North Texas, not far from here, to be the dean of engineering. And then I moved on to serve as the provost at the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth campus for a short period of time. I guess I really missed the barbecue in the Midwest, or maybe the warmth of people in the Midwest. Late March, early April, I came back to the Midwest. I was really honored to become your dean, the dean of this great college. Enough about me, that didn't take 60 minutes. So let me now dive into the college, okay? So my update is going to be people-focused. Philosophically, to me, people make a house, a home. People make a campus, a beautiful campus, a great university. So in that sense, really, when we talk about the college, we're talking about the people. So the first group of people I'd like to talk about are our students. Our students, just fantastic. I think you probably know that already. Let me tell you a little bit of overview. Our enrollment declined over the past 6, 7, maybe 8 years. This semester, for the very first time in multiple years, our enrollment went up. So last fall, we were at 3,600 something, and this fall semester, it went up to 4,159. Many of you have heard, you have your 3rd, 4th, at least 2nd generation coming here. So you're sending your children back to OSU is a big vote of confidence in yours. Now, in terms of the college, state, the quantity or the number of students is only one thing. The quality or the caliber of our students just remain high. There are many ways you can cut it. I'll just give you 1 or 2 indicators, okay? Academically, if you look at the students nationwide, please continue eating, don't stop. Your solids is also going to get cold, very cold. So you look at nationally, the higher education has a very low first-year retention rate. That's kind of how well the student perform, how satisfied they are. After 1 year, if they quit, they don't make it, right? If they stay, there's a great chance they can finish a graduate and become successful. Nationally, that first-year retention rate is at about 77%. Pretty disappointing. At Oklahoma State University, that is 84%. That's great, right? You probably now regret you should have pulled back with your applause. The College of Engineering, Architecture, and Technology has a retention rate that's not 84, it's a 91%. Of course, that's without taking into account what is called a pre-seed. Even with a pre-seed, taking into account, that's about 88%. So our students are doing really well. Of course, our faculty staff support. I'll touch on that later, but our students are superb. That's only on the academic front. Our students are also getting ready to be leaders. As a one indication, you can see how our CEAT student council really lead. Some of you probably have participated in our CEAT career fair, and that is just spectacular. You go into the stadium, the room is full of students, full of companies. We have companies on the waiting list that couldn't come in because the space is limited. And then you go out of the building, you see a long line waiting, a lot of students waiting. It zigzag all the way, if you know what I'm talking about, it zigzag all the way to parking lot 6. And those are students organized the career fair on their own, not because we don't want it to help, they don't want us to. They told me they can do it on their own. So our students are just great, not only academically, but also in terms of leadership. So that's on campus. Going beyond the campus, 2 of our students last year received the Goldwater Scholarship. In context, nationally there are about 400 every year, so we have 2. Vertically in this university over the years, the university had 34 scholars, Goldwater scholars. 16, almost a half, are in our college, and that's really wonderful. Data speak. So, really the numbers speak to themselves. It tells us how great our students are. Of course, I can continue to talk about our students, and you wouldn't have a chance to have your dinner. So let me move on to the second group of people. That's our faculty. Please do continue eating. You're not implied by any means. You eat, otherwise it'll make you feel inferior. Continue eating. So let me tell you a little bit about our faculty. In parallel with the mentoring and supporting teaching our students, our faculty are doing a great job in carrying out the mission of R1 University, a top-tier research university. In case you're not familiar with the term, in the nation, out of all the universities and the colleges, only 3% are in the R1 University category. And OSU is one of such top-tier research university. So our faculty are really carrying out that mission to provide our student education, engineering, technology, architecture education from R1 University. That matters because students get to learn what is at the frontier, not last year's technology, but this year's technology, next year, next 5, 10, 20 years technology. That is because of education from R1 Research University. You look at kind of the measure, our annual research expenditure grew to $33 million last year. That's about, every professor carry out about $200,000 externally funded research every year. And that provide a lot of opportunity to our students also. There are also quite a few STAR faculty members. They each lead a multi-million-dollar research. I'm going to run the risk of slighting any of our faculty. I know they will forgive me. It's just not possible for me to mention all the names. But I'll give you a few examples that you will likely come across. You probably heard Jamie Jacob, Andy Arena, Tyler Lay, Deb Misra, Mohammed Lohmann, Joshua Lee, James Stein. You want to hear more? Many of our faculty are just doing a fantastic job. They brought in, they're very competitive. They brought in a lot of research grants that not only carry the university, but also provide opportunity to the students. Now, naturally, our faculty are nationally recognized. I'll give you an example. Professor Raj Singh last year was elected to the National Academy of Engineering. So nationwide, that National Academy of Engineering has about 2,000-ish members, total number. So you can calculate how many each college can have. And last year we got one elected, that's Raj Singh. So not only our senior faculty are being recognized, our junior faculty are rising star. Professor Jorge Astroya, I hope I don't slaughter his name, received the National Science Foundation Career Award. That's a recognition to young faculty members, particularly tenure track assistant professors, to recognize their excellence and their independence. So in middle career range, we have a lot of faculty that receive society award. They are professional society fellows. I will not bore you with it too long, at least. Suffice to say, both our senior faculty and our junior faculty are doing a fantastic job. So that's where the college stays. I do want to touch on our staff. Our staff working with the faculty and the students. They are helping in all dimensions, research, education. Take for example, if you, I think many alums remember Parker Hall. We're one of the two colleges, I think, on this campus that really have put our freshmen together in one building and provide what we call PEAT. Essentially, we have a senior student there to help our freshman class students. So our staff work with those students to really provide a family environment where our students are away from home in the first year. I visited with our staff a week ago or 2 weeks ago to Parker Hall. Our students are so happy with the support they receive from our faculty and also particularly our staff. They're very appreciative. So not only our academic staff are doing well, our staff in engineering extension, in case you didn't know, the college is also home for the engineering extension, which has about 39-ish staff working on this campus. They reach out to all the 77 counties. They support the local government, training the local government, county government leaders to use their IT in training fire professionals. They do a lot in supporting our community. In particular, you probably have heard we have a very prominent K-12 program. Jovet is sitting somewhere. Jovet? And that is K-12 outreach program. We really give student exposure what engineering, architecture, technology is early on, whether they are in the cities or they're at a small village, any small corner of the state. So our staff are really supporting our land grant mission, supporting our communities of Oklahoma. So that is about our college in terms of our faculty, in terms of students, faculty, and the staff. I do want to say the college is doing well because of the support from many stakeholders. The support of alumni friends is a major factor. The support of our regents, our university leadership is a big factor. I saw Dr. Ann Kane, the president of our Alumni Association, a few minutes back. Ann, are you in the room? Can you please stand up? There. Thank you, Ann. Ann has been a fantastic partner. So we work through the Alumni Association to support alum, and that include, I think, all of our honorees tonight. Thank you. Finally, I do wanted to say, you know, when you see the college doing well, you see them standing here talking, having fun, enjoying the dinner, the salad. And that is happening in parallel with the college going well, with your dean standing here to talk. That is because we have a wonderful leadership team in the college. So I'd like to recognize that college leadership team. Please hold your applause as I call their names. When I call your name, please stand up and remain standing until all the names have been called, okay? The first, John Venstro, Associate Dean for Faculty Affairs. John. Then we have Carissa Rami, Associate Dean for Academic Programs and Student Engagement. I need a little bit of water. Chuck Banquet, Associate Dean for Research. Guolian Fan, Head of the School of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Mari Chen, Head of the School of Biosystem and Agriculture Engineering. Nor Dilate. Apparently I have talked too much. That's a reminder. Mari Chen, Head of the School of Biosystems and Agriculture Engineering. Nor Dilate, Head of the School of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Heather Valentine, Head of the School of Chemical Engineering. Wei Ying Hu, Head of the School of Industrial Engineering and Management. John Phillips, Interim Head of the School of Architecture. James May, I think James had to leave just minutes ago. James May is the head of our School of Material Science and Engineering, which is based in Tulsa. He had to run. Chuhao Yang, Interim Head of the Division of Engineering Technology. Jane Kerr Hunter, Director of Business Operations. Jane, I saw you do that. Amanda Lowe, Executive Administrative Associate, and she's the one that gave me directions all the time. Lance Millis, Director of Student Academic Services. Jovette Dew, Director of a college's K-12 STEM programs. Dan Fisher, Director of the Zinc Center. Michael Carolina, Associate Director of the Zinc Center and Professor of Practice. Jamie Westmoreland, Associate Director of Sponsored Programs. Christy Wheeler, Manager of CEAT, Marketing and Communications. Patrick Wheeler, Manager of CEAT Facilities. Lisa Leach, Administrative Associate. Valerie Corey, Administrative Associate. I do also wanted to add my two colleagues in the leadership team from the OSU Foundation. We have Jill Blake and Jill Johnson. Please stand up. Did I miss anyone on our leadership team? If I miss you, please stand up. I owe you a beer. Okay. Now you can start. Thank you. Please be seated. That's a long speech. I'm really delighted I have not put anything to sleep. I will be back to introduce the inductees as we enjoy our main course. Okay? Thank you. Good evening again. Good evening again. I think you all have your food with you. Continue eating. I'm probably going to get it myself very soon again. As I mentioned, I will be back. I'm back to continue the introduction of our honorees. You will recall the two words I used to characterize our inductees. What are they? Anyone? Impactful and OSU. Yes. So our people, OSU people, are impactful. Our inductees are the best example to show that. Now we do have past inductees. I think that they will demonstrate how impactful OSU people are. So I'm going to ask the past inductees who are here to stand up and be recognized. Like I mentioned earlier, we honor the inductees. We also recognize family of our inductees that contributed. Either they have to tolerate or they have to support whatever word you use. So why call the past inductee name? Please, the family also stand up also. Now, the following past inductees I think are here, certainly according to our SVP. The first I have singer. Carrie Cohen was 2023 Hall of Fame inductee. Thank you. Steve Ford, 2023 Hall of Fame inductee. And Lohmann medal recipient. The family also please stand up and be recognized. Jack Graham, 2022 Hall of Fame inductee. If your family here, please stand up and be recognized. Ali Fazel, 2018 Hall of Fame inductee. Craig Stanko, 2023 Hall of Fame inductee. Don Lohmann, 1994 Hall of Fame inductee. Dave Boyer, 2022 Hall of Fame inductee. Ed Stokes, 2015 Hall of Fame inductee. Curry Hockner, 1994 Hall of Fame inductee and the Lohmann medal recipient. Is there any other past inductees that are here but your name has not been called? If there are, please stand up. Thank you. Tom Brayton, I saw you. Thank you. Congratulations. Let us give another round of applause to all the past Hall of Fame inductees. Okay, now you understand probably better what the two words impactful and OSU really mean. You can see from those past inductees. You will see even more from the new 6 new inductees, or 6 including all the medalists. It is really with a great honor tonight that we introduce and induct those 5 new members of 6 including medalists to the Hall of Fame and award. To begin our introduction ceremony, I'm now going to call our school head to come forward to introduce the honoree. So first, I'd like to ask Dr. Chu Hao to introduce our first inductee. Chu Hao.
Thank you, Dean Huang. I'd like to introduce the first new CEAT Hall of Fame inductee of the evening, Bob Nicholas. Bob received his bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering design technology from Oklahoma State University in 1989. Bob is one of more than 30 Nichols family members who have attended OSU. Bob was an involved student while attending OSU. He was a member of the President's Leadership Council and a member of the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity, where he met his wife Elizabeth. Bob started his career in Ponca City as a project engineer at Nichols Machine, where he would ultimately become the CEO of the company. Eventually, after a leveraged buyout and an addition of several companies, Nichols Industrial would go on to become the largest independent parts, service, and repair organization in the industry. The company was later sold to Cooper Cameron, where Bob took on the role of the Senior Vice President of the Sales and Marketing. Bob would go on to co-found Fast Fusion, a large diameter HDPE pipe fusion business. He was also a founding equity investor and chief operating officer at Valeros Compression Services until 2009. Today, he is the executive chairman of Legacy, a company he founded in 2013. In his first 11 years, Legacy has sold over 3.5 billion of natural gas compressor packages. Nichols is also the co-founder and manager of Agnes Systems and Agnes IP Holdings. Bob is a member of the multiple committees and boards, including servicing on the board of directors for the Waller County Economic Development Partnership, chairman of the Finance Council at St. Matthias Catholic Church, First Financial Bank Board of Directors, Executive and Nominating Cooperative Governance Committee, chairman of the Risk Committee and Kingwood Regional Advisory Board. Please direct your attention to the screen as we view a short video with more information about Bob and his legacy.
Hello, I'm Bob Nichols. I graduated in 1989 with a degree in mechanical engineering design and technology. Born in August 16, 1966 in Ponca City. Grew up in Ponca City. I went through Ponca City Public Schools, Ponca City High School, played football and golf, and served as a president of the student council for Pohai. My family, which fills up at least a table, which is a blessing. So my wife Elizabeth, Oklahoma State grad, my daughter Madeline, my daughter Charlotte, my daughter Bridget, Oklahoma State grad, son Michael, Oklahoma State grad, and his wife Caitlin, and our precious first grandson Noah, and our son Mitchell, our latest Oklahoma State grad. If you're in Nichols, that's where you go to school. Starting with my dad, there have been 30 Nichols go to Oklahoma State. So it wasn't something that we debated or considered, that's where we go to school. I have lots of great memories of OSU. Probably the strongest memories were related to the Greeks. I was an SAE, and Elizabeth, my wife, who I met here, was a Beta. And so those bonds have lasted us a lifetime. My time at OSU was phenomenal. I started the first year actually at business school. First semester of my sophomore year, my my dad called with another opportunity, and I actually unenrolled and left and worked in West Texas and New Mexico as a gas compressor mechanic. I absolutely loved it. And we got to late December of that year, and my supervisor, one of the great mentors of my life, Frank Elgin, says, Bob, when we're done with this job, you need to go back to school. Don't come back. And I said, Frank, I'm killing it. I'm 19 years old. I'm a crew supervisor. I've got $39,000 in the bank. I love this. I don't want to go back to school. And Frank says, if you come back, I'll fire you. So I came back to Oklahoma State as having been a mediocre at best business school student, went into the College of Engineering with almost zero math skills and said, okay, I'm here to be an engineering student. So I had to work from the bottom up. So I had a great inspiring moment in class. I had just gone from business school and now I'm in engineering school. And our professor is passing out the test results in one of the classes. And a young man 2 seats before me expressed great satisfaction for achieving a C on a test, in which the professor stopped the entire class and said, well, congratulations on achieving mediocrity. And I'm sitting here 2 seats later thinking the exact same thing, man, I hope I get a C, you know, so, you know, and that adjusted a lot of my life and educational expectations right there. Just that influence of mediocrity is not enough. So that was a pretty defining moment for me. If my father gave me anything, and he did, he gave me opportunity. He gave me opportunity very early in life. And that began as the assistant janitor and worked through every series of imaginable jobs. The first 2 summers that I worked in the family machine shop, I rode a bicycle because I wasn't old enough to drive a car. So work ethic was instilled on me very early in life. During college years, my dad had enough relationship with Northern Natural Gas, one of our customers, who's still a customer of mine today. They would allow me to work these summer jobs as a full-blown gas compressor mechanic. The rest of the summer kids were painting pipes in the yard or running weed eaters, but they allowed me to work as a gas compressor mechanic so that I could really understand all of this business from the ground up. And that allowed me, when I came back into Oklahoma State as an engineering technology student, when we hit the 3rd and 4th year school curriculum, and they were talking about viscosity, bearing film thickness, torque, and all of this, I had all of the real world experience. I understood that side, so now I just needed the mathematical side to back it up, and it really blended well for me. We began a series of growth and acquisitions and ultimately culminated in selling out to a Fortune 500 publicly traded company. So it was a great milestone event. I segued into working for that Fortune 500 company, took over global sales and marketing, took over global operations, and enjoyed it, but also knew that that was not for me. Fast forward a couple of years later, started another company that we had a phenomenal growth success rate called Polaris. Through that 5-year period, we grew the company from zero ground start to over $500 million in revenue and sold it to one of the top 10 private equity groups in the world, TPG. So another wonderful milestone event, neither one of which ultimately, satisfied me. And so fast forward, a couple of years later, so in 2013, we started a legacy, which is literally us sitting around a conference room table, no bigger than this, talking about if we start another company that we want it to be with purpose, more than just business. We want to leave a legacy that we would be proud of, and we literally stuck the 2 words together. And so a legacy was born. It's a culmination of 35, 40 years of a lot of diligent hard work that has come together with the right market timing, and we've accomplished things that we never would even dream of. It's absolutely surreal. So in 11 years, we've eclipsed $3 billion in revenue. Some of the other numbers that I could not be more proud of. Our workforce 79% minority. When we talk about providing jobs, we don't want to just provide jobs, we want to provide the best jobs. Our total compensation paid out since inception is well over $170 million. So the pride that I take from seeing hundreds of people come to work every day from something that we created from scratch, from nothing, and they feed their families, and they grow their 401k, and we celebrate their children's birthdays, and we absolutely love it. So that segues into our ability to do really good things, whether it's for Oklahoma State Foundation or for St. John Student Center or whatever, but it's given me and Elizabeth, or as a company, the ability to donate back millions to the community and charitable causes, and it's incredibly fulfilling. Outside of work, my passion would be my family and surrounding myself with my family. We have 5 children. We're extremely active. We like to do anything and everything in the outdoors. We just absolutely love it. Hiking is probably top of the list. I'm also a lifelong avid golfer, so I love to be outdoors. So that's us. We're if we're together, we're happy. What does OSU mean to me and the award mean to me? Well, first of all, the award is stunning. Let's just call it what it is. Bob Nichols was not the A+ student that walked into engineering school and walked out. Bob Nichols was a student that struggled pretty hard to get through school, okay? So to be recognized is absolutely amazing. That means the world to me. I would have told you that OSU was a little bit of a part of our lives. And I believe it was you, Aaron, that said, wow, you live a very orange life. And as we pulled this history together of the last 35 plus years, we lived a pretty darn orange life. I mean, when you look at our kids, they couldn't help but go here because they were in the cheerleading uniforms and the football uniforms at age 3, right? And stepping through the years, whether it's those early involvement, the mid-involvement, whether it's supporting OSU athletics, OSU golf, donating to the different OSU foundation causes, and up through and now beginning to serve on the Oklahoma State Foundation Board of Governors, and that is, I think I realize now how much more OSU has been a part of our lives. Go Bucks.
Bob, will you please come forward to receive your Hall of Fame induction award, a copy of your briefs, as well as to say a few words.
Thank you, College of Engineering. Thank you, Dr. Lohmann. Thank you, Dr. Yang. Thank you, Chris Humes, friend of about 57 years now. I don't think I'd be here tonight if it wasn't for you, so thank you for leading the charge. Thank you, my wife Elizabeth, for 35 plus years of making me a better person. And more important to this is keeping our family connected to OSU. She's always been the leader in our family in that regard. Thank you, my dad, for purposeful opportunities at a very early stage in my life and in my career. Thank you, Frank Elgin, for threatening to fire me if I came back. It's a lot of little things along the way. We've accomplished things that we could have never even dreamed of. I have to thank my team and legacy. I wouldn't be who I am, where I am without them and my president, Will Reyes. And, in the spirit of giving back, I'm really happy to share that Elizabeth and I are endowing 4 scholarships to OSU, 1 for athletics, 1 for general studies, 1 for the College of Business, and 1 for the College of Engineering. So we've been blessed beyond anything we could have ever imagined, and we're really happy to give back, and that's a legacy I am very proud of.
Okay, as we begin to enjoy this evening's dessert course, I'm not sure if it's ready or not. I'd like to invite Dr. Mari Chin up to the stage to introduce our next honorary.
I thought I might have needed these, but thank you, Dr. Ron. I would like to introduce you to our next Hall of Fame inductee, Dr. Michael Boozer. Michael received his bachelor's degree in biosystems engineering in 1995 from Oklahoma State University. He would go on to receive his Master of Science degree from OSU in 1997 in the same discipline of biosystems engineering. In 2004, he earned his PhD in biological and agricultural engineering from Texas A&M University. Michael, encouraged by Derek Whitelock, also BAA alum, a friend and an OSU PhD student he met while completing his master's degree. Michael took a job as a Category 1 scientist / research engineer at the USDA ARS Cotton Ginning Lab in Mississippi. This opened the door for Michael to venture into the cotton industry. A year ago, he stepped into his PhD advisor's former position. He now serves as a professor and endowed chair in cotton engineering, ginning, and mechanization at Texas A&M University. He is bringing his passion for agriculture and engineering through his senior level engineering and agricultural systems management courses. He has served as the inaugural USDA Agricultural Research Service National Program Leader for Engineering, the first of its kind in our nation. USDA National Institute of Food and Agricultural Acting Division Director for Agricultural Systems and Professor in Biosystems and Agricultural Engineering here at Oklahoma State University. He is the founder of the USDA Partnerships for Data Innovations, a program focused on standardizing, integrating, and automating agricultural research data through innovation. His research teams have conducted high-impact research, including the National Cotton Gin Particulate Matter Emissions Study. This study provided the cotton industry $1.46 billion in cost savings, and the data generated from this work is now used in nearly all cotton ginning permits in the US and is used widely globally. Hi, how are you? Michael is nationally and internationally recognized expert and distinguished communicator for agriculture and technology. Again, may we ask you to direct your attention to the screen.
Howdy, I'm Dr. Michael Buser. I graduated from Oklahoma State University in 1995 with a BS in Biosystems Engineering. I went back and got my master's in Biosystems Engineering in 1997. So I was born in 1970 in Chickasha, Oklahoma. My father was in the oil industry, so we did move across the state a little bit, and then graduated high school in Owasso, Oklahoma. When I grew up, there were 4 channels on the TV, so all we knew was OSU and OU, and there was no way my family was letting me go to OSU all the way. I met my best friend here at Oklahoma State University, and that would have been my wife, Susie. We met here on campus in April of 1994, and in August of 1995, we were married here on campus in Bennett Chapel. We have 4 children. My oldest son, Guy, and his wife, Amaris, live in Owasso, Oklahoma. My oldest daughter, Kaylee, and her husband, John, live in Florida. My youngest son, Jake, is here at Oklahoma State in his freshman year. And my youngest daughter, Riley Buser, is a freshman at College Station High School. We moved around a little bit over our careers, but we've come back to Stillwater many, many times. So we have a lot of fantastic memories here at Oklahoma State. The Biosystems and Ag Engineering Department is just an incredible place to be a part of. It's a huge family. In fact, when I first went over to the department, I met Marge Johnson that was there at the time, and I didn't hardly say anything to Marjorie except that she reached out, gave me a big old hug, and said, "Let's go meet the faculty." She took me up and down every hall in the old Ag Hall building. I met every faculty member that day. They stopped what they did, and they told me what they were doing, and they made me feel like I was a part of the family. Dr. Glenn Brown was here at the time, brought me in as an undergrad student worker, and we worked on a project for Sandia National Labs to where we did the mechanical designs, the electronic designs, and then we built it, designed it, tested it, and it got deployed. It was fantastic for an undergraduate student to be a part of that. After I got my bachelor's, I had the unique opportunity of getting to work with Dr. Marvin Stone. Dr. Stone was just an incredible individual, internationally recognized, just an incredible mentor. So throughout my career, I've had just incredible opportunities. I would say going after my bachelor's degree, getting the opportunity to get my master's here was a fantastic opportunity to get to spend time with Dr. Stone. Also Dr. John Soley and Dr. Richard Whitney. Those three hired me as a research engineer to work on a specialty crops research project. Whenever I got done here with my master's and started looking for my first job outside of Oklahoma State University, it was an Oklahoma State University grad student that called me up and wanted to know if I had any interest in working for USDA Agricultural Research Service. This individual's name was Dr. Derek Whitelock. Susie and I went down to Stoneville, Mississippi and visited with Dr. Whitelock, and Stanley Anthony, the research leader at the time there, hired me to come be a research scientist. This was, at the time you don't think about these things. But looking back, that was an incredible opportunity because most Category 1 scientists within USDA have a PhD. I did not have a master's. So getting that opportunity to come in there was fantastic. After that, it took about 12 months before I figured out that I had to have 3 additional letters after my name. And so I was able to get a deal worked out with USDA ARS to go back in and get my PhD. At the time, I had the incredible opportunity of going down to Texas A&M University to get my PhD under Dr. Calvin Parnell. So I got my PhD there. After we finished up at A&M, I went up to Lubbock, Texas, working for the USDA ARS cotton ginning lab there. Spent maybe 9 years, designed, developed, and created probably one of the top air quality labs in the country. We had the incredible opportunity to conduct some of the largest air quality studies around agricultural operations. In 2009, coming back from an American Society of Agricultural and Biological Engineers meeting, I sat next to Doug Hamilton, one of the current biological and ag engineering faculty members, and Doug said, "Are you ready to come home?" And what I heard was, "Are you ready to get back home?" And I said, "Yes, it's been a long week, and I'm ready to get back home." Doug looked at me and said, "No, I mean, are you ready to get back home and come back to Stillwater?" Whenever I got back, I did send my CV and stuff back over to Dr. Elliott, who was department head at the time. And this was probably the middle of July. By Labor Day, I was on faculty, and my family and I had moved back to Stillwater, Oklahoma to be on faculty. And of course, this is one of the dream roles, right? You get to come back to Oklahoma State University, a place where you got your undergrad, got your master's. You get to be in the role. I sat in Dr. Stone's office whenever where he was when he joined the faculty. Got to work hand in hand with Dr. Stone, even though he was retired, he was still very active. So just an incredible opportunity, one of those things that Susie and I said at the time, this is where we're going to retire and we'll never leave. 9 years later, we get the opportunity to go back to USDA Agricultural Research Service, only this time in Washington, D.C. We got to go through and be the first national program leader for engineering for USDA ARS. In that role, I had the opportunity to manage or co-manage roughly 91 projects out across the country. The operating budget was somewhere in the neighborhood of $206 million annually. We had ARS programs underneath my management that included the hydraulics engineering lab here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. We had some of the labs that were in El Reno, Oklahoma. We We also had the rangeland management unit up in Woodward, Oklahoma. So for me, it was incredible to be able to have within my research portfolio those ARS labs here in Oklahoma. While I was there, I had another incredible opportunity, and that was to become a division director for NIFA, the competitive grant side of USDA, and I did that for about 6 or 7 months in an acting role. Really gave me a good perspective on how the funding mechanisms really function within USDA on the competitive grant side. And then about a year ago, a little over a year ago, the cotton industry came back in and said, we really need an endowed cotton chair at Texas A&M University. So last April, I put my application in, and Susie and I moved to College Station in November of 2023. You know, I don't know that I fully digested what this award means to me. I mean, it's just an incredible honor when we think about 120 to 130 folks since, I think, the 1950s that have received this award. To be one of those that has been selected to hold that honor is just absolutely amazing. To me, I think part of this goes back to possibly where does the legacy go? And to me, that legacy is always going to be that next generation. What can I do to take some of the passion that I have about what I do today, and how can I instill that on our next generation of engineers? Oklahoma State University to me means family. It always will. The Biosystems Ag Engineering Department was just an incredible family to me, my wife, my kids. And I think it's the entire community. It's more than just that department. Go Pokes!
BA family is so proud of all your accomplishments and being an honoree today and tonight. So can I welcome you onto stage, come forward and receive your Hall of Fame induction award, a copy of your brick, as well as to say a few words. Say go, Dr. Buser.
Well, I thought my speaker was up here and was going to take care of these words for me. So, you know, Bob, I was just talking to Susie, and she said, "Do you have your piece of paper and ready to pull it out?" And I said, "Piece of paper? Wouldn't they tell us we were supposed to give a few words?" So I missed that somewhere. But I do want to thank CEAT and all of the staff and faculty for just an incredible evening. Yesterday was fantastic. Thank you for everything that you've done. Aaron, thank you for keeping me on track and getting things turned in. The emails really helped. Thank you to the Biosystems Ag Engineering Department. I spent the day with them yesterday. Just a fantastic opportunity getting to talk with students, current faculty, staff, former colleagues that were there. Just incredible. And then I want to send a big thank you to my family. For putting up with me for a number of years. You know, Susie, when I was on faculty here at Oklahoma State, Susie said, well, we'd see you 4th of July, and then maybe you'd be around for 20 days before Christmas got around. But that's just the way it was with all the work that we had going on, working on a bunch of different projects. The other inductees, but when you think about putting these materials together, you think about your accomplishments. And one of the things I found myself doing was thinking about the moments throughout my career that really made a difference. So we heard a little bit about Bob's dad there. Well, I can tell you that for my dad, the one thing that sticks out is being, gosh, I must have been 5 or 6 years old, standing on cinder blocks, running a machine lathe or a drill press. I remember my mom coming in from a horse show one day, and she met me at the door and said, you know, I think it's about time that you figured out whether or not you're going to move out or go to college. You know, we think about my kids going out with me. You know, I've been fortunate throughout my career that my kids get to go out, join me on some of the studies that we've done across the country. I think about Guy going back over to New Mexico to one of the labs, putting some of our samplers together, learning new words in Spanish. It's a good thing his mom doesn't know Spanish. Think about my youngest daughter, my oldest daughter, that sat there and we watched football, soldering electronics together, wiring harnesses. Think about my youngest son, where we drove across West Texas, Panhandle of Texas, visiting cotton gins and cattle feed operations. He was a big hit with all the managers, as you can imagine. And then my youngest daughter that we has gone out to a lot of these, or she'll remind me about the time we were driving through Alabama and pulling a load of equipment, and of course I ran out of gas. We had to have the Alabama Highway Patrol help us get some more gas to get things going. So anyway, just fantastic opportunities. We think about some of the things that are there. You know, there was a picture that was in the slideshow that happens to be the chief scientist for Microsoft. You know, I think you go back in and you look at these things, and we were scrambling to get something, a big event together. But you know, that was a special moment, being up on that rooftop with the chief scientist trying to figure out how to get TV white spaces to go before we're going live in 15 minutes. And so standing up on top of the National Ag Library, taking that picture was fantastic. The scary part that you can't see there was we had invited his boss, Satya, CEO of Microsoft, to that event, and he had accepted. I found out some of our other technology providers or vendors, their upper level execs couldn't be there, so I had to make the awkward call to uninvite Satya to come to our event. Probably the worst day of my life. But he was fantastic with it, invited us to a big event later that next week and really highlighted our research. But again, just a fantastic opportunity, really appreciate it. And really the thing I'm looking at is, you know, how do I go through and carry this on to the next generation? You know, we've got 92 engineering capstone students in my classes this year. I'm going to be taking some of the things I'm hearing from some of you in the audience and carrying them forward to those young folks. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael, and congratulations. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Gui Ping Hu to the stage to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee of the evening.
It's my honor to be here to introduce Mitch Myers as our next Hall of Fame inductee. Mitch graduated from Oklahoma State University with a bachelor's degree in industrial engineering and management in 1995. In 1999, Mitch obtained Master of Business Administration, also from OSU. During his undergraduate years, Mitch served as the president of the local Institute of Industrial Engineering chapter for 2 years. Mitch began his career at F.W. Murphy, a provider of instrumentation and controls used for industrial engines. During his time there, he took the lead on the company-wide ERP implementation across 5 geographic regions. This led to him directing company-wide operations. Mitch had opportunity to lead the construction, hiring, and transition of a manufacturing facility in Hangzhou, China. Mitch would later go on to purchase Somo Specialties, a $20 million manufacturing company. He has since gone on to acquire multiple other forms of business: manufacturing, construction, interior design, medical benefits, and real estate. just to name a few. Mitch has made it a mission to contribute to the success of industrial engineering and management students. I can attest to that. He has been a mentor to multiple IEM students, including encouraging 2 of his employees to pursue OSU MS IEM degree. He has also hired several IEM students. He has been inducted into the Cowboy Academy of Industrial Engineering and Management, where in just 1 year, he was elected president. He also served as the chair of OSU Industrial Advisory Board for 2 terms. Please direct your attention to the screen.
Hi, my name is Mitch Myers, and I graduated from Oklahoma State University with a Bachelor's of Science in Industrial Engineering in 1995, and then got a Master's in Business Administration in 1999. I was born in Owasso, Oklahoma. That's where I was born and where I grew up. I was born to my parents, Jerry and Sherry Myers. My dad's pretty amazing. He started with very humble beginnings and ended up as the #2 guy at One Oak. And my mom, Sherry Myers, started as a secretary, administrative person, worked at the school that I went to, the elementary school I went to, and then as an administrator in a doctor's office as I was going through, helping put me through college. My wife, Christy, she grew up in a suburb of Tulsa as well, Glenpool. She and I met later in life. My first wife had passed away in 2010 after I had recovered from that. Christy and I met. She already had 2 children, so I got a couple of bonus children. My first wife, my late wife, and I had 2 children previously. She and I met in 2010, got married in 2016. My children going from youngest to oldest, so I have a 20-year-old junior at Oklahoma State who's currently studying marketing. Her name is Kennedy. And then I have my next daughter, which is my biological daughter, is Brooke Taylor Myers. And Brooke got a big scholarship to go to American University in Washington, D.C. And she graduated in 3 years, and her intent is to go back to law school. My next child is a son, Sutton, and he was named after Eddie Sutton. He is studying heat and air at Oklahoma State University in Okmulgee and should graduate in December. My oldest son, which is a bonus child, is named Blaine Howell, and Blaine graduated from Oklahoma State University with a construction engineering degree. He's currently working and running one of the businesses that I own as I researched industrial engineering both at OSU and at Oklahoma University. I found that OSU's program was ranked in the top 10 BSIE schools in the country. Had a rich history. I just wanted to go somewhere where I felt like I would get the best education for what I was studying, and OSU fit the bill. I met my best friend from college here, Chad Fry. We became roommates together. We had a very tight-knit group of people in the industrial engineering program that kind of were lockstep and went through, and we studied together, we partied together. The tools I was afforded and armed with to make a way in my career, there's no doubt that just the pure STEM education that I received gave me opportunities that I couldn't imagine at the time. Very blessed, very grateful for the people who poured into me, and part of the reason why I work hard every day to pour back into others is because I was so blessed that those who came before me poured into me. So a little bit about my career. I graduated from Oklahoma State with that Bachelor's of Science in Industrial Engineering and immediately went to work as a summer intern for a manufacturing company, Frank W. Murphy Manufacturing. That organization asked me to help them implement a new software system that they were implementing across their entire organization. And they said, you know computers and you've got time, so why don't you learn how the software works and then go help our managers implement it throughout the organization. And from that experience, I was able to learn every facet of the organization, everything from accounting and finance, fixed assets, general ledger, to sales and marketing, to the manufacturing and material planning group, basically everything inside the organization. I learned how the business process worked, and I made the software and the business work together to implement the software. And so I was given an opportunity early to be in a management role. By the time I was 29, I had been promoted to be Vice President of Operations, which was responsible for about 75% of the employees in the company, the operations inside the organization. And one day I got a phone call from the guy that owned the company and said, "Hey, do you have a passport? We're going to China." And I was like, "Okay, when?" He said, "Next week." A week later, I'm on a plane to China. And while we're on our way there, and after we landed, he said, "My vision is that I want to open a facility in China. So we're going to go visit some various cities in China and see, and talk to the government officials and see how that might work." Early 30-year-old guy, me, is sitting in this room with all these Chinese officials trying to figure out how do you open a facility in China. And so it was a big learning experience, drinking by the fire hose for sure. But at the end of that 2.5 week process, we selected a location in a town called Hangzhou. There's all kinds of things you learn when you're thrust into a situation like that. So yeah, I'm proud of the activity and the exposure. It was invaluable. At the time, I hated it. It was scary, and I didn't want to be outside the United States eating food I didn't recognize and trying to speak a language of which I didn't recognize. But in retrospect, it was one of the most valuable experiences I had. One day I got a phone call from him, this is 2007, from the guy that owned the company, and he said, "Will you meet me for lunch?" And I said, "Sure." And he sat across the table from me and he said, "I think I'm going to sell the company, and most of the company reports to you, and it'll be better if it doesn't report to you when I go to sell it. So you need to pick one of the areas you like, and you're going to manage that area, but the rest of them I'm going to split up." Well, it's a body blow to me because I felt like this was a demotion. And here I was 13 years into working at F.W. Murphy, thinking that I would finish my career there and I would probably run the company for the owner at some point. Finding out that I had been limited at where I could go. So I had to do some soul searching. Am I going to stay or am I going to do something different? And so through that journey, I determined that at 36 at the time, if there's ever a time to start your own business or to buy a business, this is the time. So I started looking for a business to buy, and I found this company, Thermal Specialties. The owner had been trying to find a way to exit. He didn't want to sell it to a big company and get it chopped up. He wanted to sell it to a private individual so it could live on. And so he and I struck a deal, and he loaned me $10 million, and I bought this business. I started the process of buying that company in 2008. We went through a big recession in 2009, so we didn't close on that deal. And then my first wife passed away in 2010. I didn't buy the company officially until 2011, but now I've owned it for a little over 13 years. The company's successful. We've gone from, when I bought it, there were 3 businesses. We currently operate 9 different companies. The journey has been unpredictable. It's been a good experience, and it's taught me a lot. I'm proud of the organization we've built today. I don't know what it looks like over the next 10 years, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it develops. So I am super passionate about education for everyone. Becoming more educated every day in whatever that subject matter is so critically important to you being successful, to your kids being successful, to your family members and your friends being successful. Strong believer in STEM education and that our kids need to be studying more STEM. Probably the most important award I've ever received is the one I'm receiving right now, is that recognition by my alma mater, where the color of my blood is orange running through my veins, is telling me and acknowledging me and saying, "You've done well, sir, and we're proud of you." In an area as technical as engineering is humbling to me, and I am proud of that. And this particular award it makes me feel good that I've at least accomplished some things in support of the school and the university that people say, Mitch, you've done a good job, and we value you and what you've given to the school and to the university. You're one of us. OSU means a lot to me, and that's why I commit so much of my time to helping students, helping the faculty, helping the university grow, and I will be forever grateful. Go Pokes!
Mitch, would you please come forward to receive your Hall of Fame induction award, as well as their future.
Well, try to fight back the tears. As I listened to the first two recipients, it reminds me that I might feel a bit like an imposter. The intelligence that the people in this room have, the success that they've achieved, I feel very humbled to be in their presence. As my wife said, get it together. First, let me say that there are three gentlemen who worked tirelessly to get me on this stage. The first is here tonight, Mr. Tom Britton. The other two, Sundra Sharagu, who was the previous department head of industrial engineering before Queeping, and Dr. Ken Case, who is in ICU in Houston right now, fighting cancer. These gentlemen have poured into me and raised me up, and I will be forever grateful. Tom. As I thought out a little bit about what I wanted to say up here, I thought I just want to talk about my gratitude. I had wonderful parents. My dad, I talked a little bit about him, born in Pocasset, Oklahoma, just outside of Chickasha. Rode a horse to school, stabled, one-room schoolhouse, about 15 kids, K through 12. No electricity, block of dry ice in the cellar for refrigeration. Slept outside amongst the stars in the summer. And one day, he became the second number 2 guy at a Fortune 500 company. And I always thought, I'll never be able to achieve what he was able to achieve. And this spring, he passed away. And I suspect he would be proud. And then after my parents, I had the faculty at Oklahoma State for another kid, Bob, who wasn't that smart, who came in to the School of Engineering and called home crying and said, I can't do this, I'm not smart enough, these kids are smarter than me, and they were. The faculty who poured into me and helped me get through and taught me to have self-confidence in myself and the critical thinking skills that it would take to be successful so grateful. I would be remiss if I didn't say to that guy who essentially fired me at F.W. Murphy, Frank Murphy III, that the opportunities he gave me those first 13 years of my life, the things he pushed me to do that I probably didn't want to do, was such a blessing and an opportunity for me, and he's not here, but I thank him. And then the guy that I bought my companies from, Bob Caffey, who passed during COVID, a lesson for all of us. I wrote him a $10 million check and he passed away just a couple years later. They're all people who poured into me that I am so extremely grateful for what they did. And then, as you heard in the video, I had some very challenging time in my life where my first wife passed away. I was 38, she was 36. Sudden, here with me today, and my daughter Brooke in Washington, D.C. We're 10 and 7, and getting on your knees in front of your children and telling them Mom's not coming home is the most impactful experience that I will ever have. But I had great friends. Ken and Michelle Charles, and Guy and Cindy Griggs were there for me. In one of the most difficult times you can imagine. But they lifted me up. They kept me afloat. I could have easily gone into a spiral, but they were my friends, as true friends should be. Since then, I was lucky enough and blessed enough to meet this lovely lady, Christy, at my table. And I inherited 2 lovely bonus children. And I'm sure that all of my children will tell you that growing up with Dad wasn't like a giant picnic of fun. Dad is very critically thinking, driven, hardworking. When we go to dinner, we talk business. When we're in the car, we talk business. We are going. I'm pushing them. I'm driving them. And sometimes I wish that I was just more of a cuddly, loving dad, but that's not who I am. But I just want to say to the 3 of my children that are here, thank you. Thank you for letting me be your father and allowing me to pour into you with what I feel like I can give to you. And then Christy, I'm so deeply blessed. I know it's going to be frustrating to be my wife. The time away, giving to the workplace, giving to the people at the workplace, giving to OSU. I'm robbing you of minutes of me and you are making that sacrifice for me. And I'm so very thankful that you do that. I'm truly blessed. So now that I've got my gratitude out of the way, I'll just say thank you to you. To the people here that have recognized me and said, you're a good guy, you've done a good job, and we say thank you today for what you've done, and we recognize you. I feel very blessed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Guo Liang Fan to the stage to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee of this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Whippy, and I'm honored to be here this evening. At this time, I would like to introduce our next Hall of Fame inductee, Derek Gates. Derek, he graduated from Oklahoma State University in 1980 with a bachelor degree in electrical engineering. His first job was for City Service Oil and Gas in Tulsa, where he did power design for refineries. Then Derek began working for Amoco Production Company in Tulsa, designing seismic equipment. After 7 years working at Amoco Production Company, Derek began a new role at Dresser Engineering, designing electrical power for gas plants and refineries. At the end of his time at Dresser Engineering, he decided he would take the plunge and try to start his own business. And with that, D.W. Gates Engineering Service was born. The work of Derek's companies can be seen across the Tulsa area. Some examples of their work include the LED streetlight on the I-44 from Riverside to the Memorial, the power design to the gateway structure on the Route 66, and the new LED lighting at the Will Rogers and the Central High School football stadium. His company also partners with the ODOT to relocate overhead utilities. Through the work for his private engineering firm, he has provided service to multiple OSU facilities, including but not limited to the Collins Center, the Mass Science Building, and the OSU bus terminal. Derek's company also designed the mechanical, electrical, and the plumbing system of the OSU Institute of Technology and Central Gas Compressor Building. Derek consistently hires OSU graduates as full-time employees and OSU students as summer interns. He's a very devoted and involved community member. He worked with 100 black men to mentor young boys and help them reach their full potential. He visited area high schools and shared his knowledge and experience of being a small business owner. He also participated in judging elementary science fairs and has done so far for the last 20 years. He has done long-time outreach to youth and encouraged them to pursue an education at the CEAT. He also spread the work of the Tulsa Regional Chamber of Commerce to underserved community. May I ask you to direct your attention to the screen again?
My name is Derek Gates. I graduated in 1980. My degree was in electrical engineering. I was born in 1957 in England. My father was in the Air Force and he was stationed at an Air Force base in England. I'm the second of 5 children to Norman and Eddie Faye Gates. So I grew up as an Air Force brat for my first 12 years. As a young child, my dad retired from the Air Force when I was about 11 and moved to Oklahoma. My mother is a former history teacher and historian. My father was in the Air Force and worked as an engineer for a public service company before he retired. They both passed on. I have a late wife, Cheryl Swinton, who I met at OSU, and with her I have 2 children, Allison and Chutney. I have a new partner, fiance, Dr. Dale Flinyall. I have 2 brothers, Norman and Kevin Gates, and I have 2 sisters, Diane Gates Anderson and Donna Gates Kelly. That's my family. I love science, I love math, I love reading, I love building things, and that was just in my heart to do that. And my parents saw that, and they encouraged it. So they would buy me science books. They would buy me, one year for Christmas, I got a telescope. Another year, I got a microscope, you know. So I was that kid that wanted to be a scientist. It just seemed like something I wanted to do. I went to school at Edison High School in Tulsa. During that time, quite a few people from Edison went to OSU. I always heard good things about the school. I had heard good things about engineering from Oklahoma State University. So early on, that's where I wanted to go to school. It just seemed to make sense for me. That's the only school I wanted to go. It's the only school I actually applied for. I really enjoyed Oklahoma State University. I think it was everything I expected it to be. A lot of growth happened during my years here. When I first came on campus, I was 17 years old. My first class was in the summer of 1975. It was just exciting to be here. I think I got everything out of the school I could get. I did the social life, the academic life, the extracurricular activities, everything was great. I'm one of the few students that lived on campus the whole 4 years. I lived in Bennett Hall. Bennett was like my home away from home. I met my wife at Bennett Hall. We were crossing the street in front of the football stadium, and our eyes kind of crossed. Turns out at the time I had a phone and she didn't have a phone, and she wanted to use the phone to call her grandmother in Muskogee, so that was my way to entrap her. I made a lot of good friends in life. Many of the best friends I have are people I met when I was on campus at Oklahoma State University. So I was very fortunate when I graduated in 1980. There was a real demand for engineering students. It probably is now, but at that time, most students that graduated had several job opportunities or offers in hand. That determined that I wanted to stay in Oklahoma. At that time, I was getting ready to get married. I wanted to be close to my family and her family. I did have an offer in California with Lockheed, a missile engineering facility. Had another offer from the Navy. The Navy offer was pretty intriguing because it was going to be being trained as an officer for a nuclear submarine. In another situation, I probably wouldn't have taken that. It would have been a good career choice, but I decided I was going to work in oil and gas. So my first job was the City Service Oil and Gas Company in Tulsa. Of course, when you graduate and you start working, your fear is you don't know anything. And they kind of know that, so they trained you. And I was doing power design for refineries and gas plants. And it was a very good experience. Went to work for Amoco in Tulsa at the research center. And at Amoco, I was doing work in their lab designing seismic equipment. This is equipment you use to search for oil underground, electronics. I worked there for 7 years. Then I found a job at a small engineering design firm in Tulsa called Dresser Engineering. And we did what I did at City Service Company. I was in Tulsa, we designed gas plants, water treatment plants, and I did the electrical power for that. And I thought that was a good job. I worked there for maybe a year and a half, 2 years. During that time, they encouraged me to become licensed as a professional engineer. So I took my PE test. I didn't pass it the first time, but I studied, I ended up passing it, and got my PE license. And I thought I was doing pretty well there. Then they got involved in some merger activities, and lo and behold, I ended up losing my job. So I've been working for 12 years and been laid off twice, and potentially transferred once, but I ended up leaving voluntarily. So I had to do some soul searching and saying, is this corporate life what I need to do? Is that set for me? So I decided while I was looking for a job, I would try to start my own business and see how that worked out. So I started my own business, DW Gates Engineering, in my house, in my basement, with no jobs, and used my contacts and people I knew from work, and slowly built a pretty good practice, a pretty good engineering practice. One of my good fortune occurred when I ran into somebody who worked for Southwestern Bell, and they wanted to see more minorities doing engineering work there. And this person kind of took me under his wing, and I ended up doing quite a bit of work for Southwestern Bell, doing power design. As I started getting my business established, I really began to venture into other areas, mainly community service. And that's kind of where I made my name in Tulsa. I've worked on engineering projects. I worked on the Performing Arts Center. I worked at the airport. I've done major projects, but I think most people know me more for public service type things I do. My passion right now is trying to get other people into careers where they can take care of themselves. Okay, there's no reason for people to work and not make a living, not break even, not be able to get a house. A lot of people put themselves in careers that aren't well paying. Now, you don't have to be an engineer, you can be a technician, you can be an installer, you can work on videos. There's a lot of things you can do. A lot of kids don't know, so they're spending their time learning things or doing things that aren't going to get them where they want to be. So I try to work with kids and adults and try to get them to move into paths where there's a demand. Outside of mentoring and that type of stuff, if I want to relax and have fun, my deal is tennis. I love tennis. Like I tell people, I may not play well, but I play often. I play tournaments. Also, I coach and I teach tennis. Love to fish. Don't fish nearly as much as I would like to, and I love to do gardening. So I stay busy. My idea is make the world better for the next group. I'm not trying to, die with the most money in the bank. That's not my goal. My goal is to be known as a professional, as a decent person, as a good engineer, and somebody that tried to help people. Go Folks!
Derek, may you come forward to accept the Hall of Fame induction award, and a copy of the break, as well as to say a few words.
Thank you very much. This is a great honor. I really appreciate this. It's a long road I've been traveling on. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge those people that helped make me become the person that I am. That starts with my parents, Norman and Eddie Faye Gates. They both passed on. They were a great influence, and they made the road easy for me. I'm very fortunate to have my family here with me and many, many friends. I have my brothers and sisters here, Norman, Kevin, Diane, Donna. Thank you so much for being here, you and your spouses. I have my children here. I have Allison and Chutney. I have my new partner, fiance, Dr. Dale Flynn, y'all. I see Levi, my son-in-law. All these people are important to help make this happen. OSU was very special to me. You really don't realize until you have moments like this. A lot of things you take for granted. But I remember my first day on campus in 1975. My first class was in the classroom building. How about that? But it was great because last Friday, yesterday, I got a chance to go back to the classroom building, which has been remodeled in a very beautiful manner. And I had a chance to speak to some of the students, and they were freshmen. And I was trying to tell them, I know what you're feeling because I was there. Might have been 45 years ago, but I know what you're feeling. And you're going to graduate, you're going to be out in society, and you're going to do great things. So don't be discouraged, keep your head up. And one of the things I told the kids is you don't really know what path you're going to take, but you're going to have to travel your own road. It won't be the road somebody else had, it may not be the road you plan to travel, but it will make itself forward for you. But one of the things I want people to know is when I started my business, it was because I felt like that was the road I was supposed to travel. I did the corporate route, I was a good employee, didn't make too many mistakes, I followed the rules, but either I was choosing the wrong companies or working for the wrong divisions, so I decided to start my own business, and that's what I did. And I had success based on what I wanted to achieve. And I was able to do that, which was basically to have a business based on integrity, honesty, and competence. No cutting corners, everything is by the book. And the success will be whatever it's going to be. Once I became established and got things moving, I decided to get more into service. And service just came calling to me. I got put on several boards. I was on the board of directors for the YMCA for 12 years. I was on the Tulsa Metropolitan Board, Chamber of Commerce Board. I was on the board for the Day Center for the Homeless. Everybody was asking me to be on the board. And one of the reasons they wanted representation. They wanted people from different communities that could say, here's what's going on. And what the board access did, it allowed me to meet people and put in input from people that they would never talk to, they would never know. So I was able to give people a different perspective. The other area of service I get into is volunteering, and mainly education and career guidance. I was very fortunate. I grew up around technology. I lived on an Air Force base. Our Navy were pilots, officers. We had jets flying overhead. Men were trying to land on the moon. That was my world. We have so many kids today, their world is nothing. Living in the streets, playing basketball, not really having a future. So I try to give people ideas about a better future for themselves. One of the ways I do that is with a group called the 100 Black Men of Tulsa. We have two people here, Larry Harris and buddy Tate, and we spend our time, a lot of time, reaching out to these people. But my success is not my success, it's the success of many people that supported me and worked with me. When I went to college, I lived in Bennett Hall. And we have a lot of people here that live in Bennett Hall with me. If you want to stand up, Bennett Sci-Fi, come on, all of you. You need a support system to be successful. And I had a support system, and I appreciated that. They weren't always the greatest friends, but they were different. But I'll give you one example. Okay, this will be quick, then I'll go sit down. But it was in the spring semester, and we had yearbooks. And before you had the yearbooks, they would send out pictures with your images on it. You'd have 5 different pictures. You pick the one you want. And the little clips they had a little watermark that said proof. So I'm looking at my proofs. I'm sitting at the table, and my good friend who happens to be here, Daryl Elliott, goes, "Let me see your pictures." And looks at it, goes, "Proof? Yeah, that's proof that you're ugly." But you need people like that to keep you light and keep you focused. So I appreciate my friends. I appreciate Oklahoma State University. Go Pokes.
Thank you, Derek. Congratulations. Our next 2 honorees and of the evening will also be receiving the Melvin R. Lohmann Medal. This medal is considered our college's highest honor. Since 1991, this medal has been awarded to engineers, architects, or technologists who have made outstanding contributions to their profession or Oklahoma State University. Deserving recipient can be found in industry, private practice, government, or education. Since inception, 45 OSU alumni have been recognized as have made these contributions. Tonight, 2 more outstanding individuals will be added to the list. Dr. Joseph Campbell is our first Lohmann Medal recipient of the night. He will also be inducted to the Hall of Fame. Joseph received his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute in 1979. His master's degree in 1986 from Johns Hopkins University, and his PhD in electrical engineering from Oklahoma State University in 1992. In 1979, he began his work at the National Security Agency with a new modem and speed compression coding algorithm. This enabled the United States government to have a secure speed communications over ordinary telephone channels. After attending a National Security Agency Speech Research Symposium held at Oklahoma State University, Joseph was invited by Dr. Raul Yalgada to attend OSU to earn a PhD degree in electrical engineering. His biometric research and the PhD thesis at OSU would later allow for identification of a person based on their voice. In 1992, he was awarded the Best Distinction across all OSU colleges. At MIT Lincoln Laboratory in 2012, he worked under the Defense Advanced Research Project agencies to develop new technologies to identify patterns and illegal activities to combat human trafficking. This work was featured on 60 Minutes. Joseph also taught speech processing at Johns Hopkins University for 10 years. Joseph then went to become the leader of the AI Technology and Systems Group, focusing on human language, multimedia, and the cyber challenges critical to national security. Last year, Joseph was promoted to a laboratory fellow, working for the director's office, and is now leading an AI study to advance the technology for national security applications. He was awarded MIT Lincoln Laboratory's prestigious Technical Excellence Award in 2022. Joseph's career continues to focus on developing and transitioning numerous emerging technologies to advance our nation's security. May I ask you to direct attention to the screen?
Hello, my name is Joe Campbell, and I graduated with a PhD in electrical engineering from OSU in 1992. I was born in 1956. I grew up in Oneonta, New York, which is a small city in upstate New York. Grade school, junior kindergarten through 9th grade that I attended was part of a college, the State University of New York, and it was an ideal environment for learning and working with, having professors as my grade school teachers. Just a great place to grow up. My father, Joseph Campbell, and my mother, Sally Fianti. My father was a teacher, a coach, radio personality, and my mother was also an educator and a TV news reporter and an animal lover. My brother, Jeff Campbell, is a mechanical engineer. I didn't really choose my career path. It chose me. My father, who was a 6th grade teacher, brought home a box of batteries, lamps, knife switches, and wires to prepare for a lesson. And as a very curious kindergartner, I got into the box and started wiring things together and was able to turn the lights on and off. And by the time I got into 1st grade, I learned how to do that without shorting out the batteries. So this was really the start of my interest in electronics and circuitry, and here we are today. In addition to my degrees from OSU, I earned a master's from the Johns Hopkins University in electrical engineering, bachelor's degree from Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, also in electrical engineering, and an associate in science from Broome Community College. Those were the foundation degrees. I chose OSU because of my advisor, Dr. Ravi Yarlagadda. I was working for the government at the time. Rich Dean was my first supervisor at the National Security Agency, and he blazed the trail and went out to Oklahoma State University before me. And after winning the fellowship, I was able to go anywhere I wanted, and I could tell from Rich's experience and the kindness of Dr. Ravi Yarlagadda that that was where I wanted to be. My time at OSU was wonderful. My daughters at the time, Elizabeth and Emily, were 2.5 years old and 9 months old, and my wife, Shawn, she paused in her career. We packed up the family and moved to Stillwater. And Ravi Yarlagadda was there to meet us, literally as we drove into town. And it was just a wonderful environment. Some of my favorite memories there are going to Eskimo Joe's for lunch, going to Pawnee Bill's, taking my young daughters there, having the world's best pecan pie in the student union with my advisor, Ravi Yarlagadda, for some of the most insightful conversations. I became friends with a number of faculty at OSU, especially Dr. Keith T. and Dr. Jim West. We had so much fun together, going to football games. Well, Jim West went to Kansas, and when Kansas played Oklahoma State University, he would cheer for the Kansas team when we were sitting on the OSU side, and I wasn't sure we'd make it out alive. So WSYJ is OSU's amateur radio club, and a bunch of us were anxious to get amateur radio licenses or ham licenses, and we were in the very first class of no code requirement, that's Morse code, technician class licenses. So we all got in a van and drove, I can't even remember to what city, took our exams and all came back, and I became N3JBC on the 2-meter band. It was just such a wonderful time in life. Just this close environment, the close connection with the professors there was wonderful. Throughout my 45-year career, I am most proud of advancing national security. I can't discuss all the details here, but some of them that I can was the work that I did with the team at Bell in developing the secure voice algorithms and modems for the Secure Terminal Unit 3, the STU-3, which is NSA's largest production of voice equipment. Over 350,000 units were used. And those devices were never broken and in service for 2 decades. It was quite remarkable. Another thing that I'm particularly proud of is all the work in developing artificial intelligence to combat human trafficking. This was featured on 60 Minutes with Leslie Stahl years ago, and our program manager at DARPA even won the Presidential Medal for combating human trafficking. So later in my career, the first big person to influence it was Dr. Yamagata, who just was so transformative, and the journey of earning a PhD under him was really opened up so many doors for me. That actually opened the door later to joining MIT Lincoln Laboratory. And Drs. Mark Zisman and Cliff Weinstein brought me to Lincoln Laboratory as a senior staff, which wasn't very common at the time. And I'm grateful to them for going back for me and bringing me in at that high level. So my passions are really traveling, music, and music reproduction. I've been very interested in high fidelity audio since I was a kid, and that led me on a career path I started at NSA doing speech processing because that was kind of close to music and audio. And then lately, traveling with my family is really a wonderful thing. We just spent this summer in the Grand Canyon, and my newest passion is my grandson, Lucian. OSU and this award are deeply meaningful to me. I'm truly honored and humbled by this recognition. I'm especially grateful to Dr. Yamagata for his mentorship and his wonderful family, my thesis committee, and the OSU faculty for their unwavering support. A heartfelt thank you to Dr. Keith Teague for nominating me, and to my endorsers, Drs. Andrews, Lansford, and Weinstein, and Mrs. Dunn and Welch. This award holds special significance because Dr. Yamagata recommended my nomination for the Lohmann Medal way back in 2011. And then again this year, shortly before his passing. I'm deeply grateful for his enduring support. Go Pokes!
Will you come forward to accept your Hall of Fame induction award, your Lohmann Medal, our college's highest honor, and a copy of the break, as well as to say a few words?
Wow. Well, first, I want to thank Dr. Swang, Van, Shang, and Aaron, Savannah, and Christy for making everything go so smoothly. The work behind the scenes to put together the ceremony and organize everything is really quite remarkable. And they did it all and took such good care of me. I am a little tall. I've noticed that with some of the other inductees as well. So I wanted to comment on some of the things in the video. The achievements that I'm being recognized by are really the result of tremendous teams that I've had the opportunities to work with within the National Security Agency, Bell Laboratories, other national laboratories, and more recently at MIT Lincoln Laboratory, MIT campus. And I want to say the whole journey to OSU was transformative, not only for myself, but for my family as well. coming here has, forever changed us and the courses of our future, and I'm so entirely grateful. Dr. Yarlagata, who passed away last year, was the kindest person I've known. And a true guiding light. He is the reason I came to OSU. He was just a remarkable advisor. And I wanted to say that my family is really my everything. And I'm so delighted that some of the members could be here in person today. My daughters, Elizabeth and Emily, and my grandson, who you might have noticed. I want to thank their husbands, Mark and Florian, my mother, Sally, and brother Jeff, and family members who could not attend, and those who are no longer with us. I'm grateful to Dr. Rao Yarlagata's daughter, Tammy Yarlagata, and her husband for being here and representing the Yarlagata family today. I'm also grateful for Rich Dean, who I mentioned in the video, being here, Walt Andrews, long-term colleague and friend, also an OSU grad, Jim West and Keith T, two outstanding professors here, and to Keith T's wife, Sherry was a remarkable force and really did a lot to help even put this together. I was sending her text messages, 21 of them in fact, just last weekend about some of the photos you saw here. And finally, I want to thank especially my wife Shawn for her love and tireless support of 47 years, being my partner in developing ideas, converting them to English, rewriting all of the papers I've co-authored and authored. Some of my co-authors, I think, have become better writers as a result. I know I have. And especially for raising a wonderful family together. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you for having us. And thank you for all the orange. Go Pokes.
Thank you, Joe. Congratulations. At this time, and I would like to invite Dr. Norm Delat to the stage to introduce our final honoree of the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Plant. This time I'd like to introduce our final Lohmann Medal recipient of the evening, Dr. Rao Sirompali. I'm excited and honored to hand out this award tonight, as I've known Rao for some time now. We met through the American Society of Civil Engineers as both journal chief editors there. Rao received a master's degree in environmental engineering from Oklahoma State University in 1978. He later received his PhD in environmental engineering from Iowa State University in 1985. Rao was already a member of the CEAT Hall of Fame as he was inducted in 2015. He was also recognized as an OSU Distinguished Alumni in 2001. Rao was also inducted into the Iowa State University Hall of Fame in 2022 and became one of their Distinguished Alumni in 2002. For the last 30 years, Rao worked for the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency before retiring as the engineer director. It was at the EPA that he worked to develop innovative and sustainable technologies for design and construction of water and wastewater facilities. An impressive 500+ water and wastewater treatment facilities were built during his time with the EPA. Rao is currently serving as the CEO and Chief Technology Officer of the Global Institute for Energy, Environment, and Sustainability. He was elected to the European Academy of Sciences and Arts, the U.S. National Academy of Construction, Fellow of the American Association for the Advancement of Science, Distinguished Fellow of the International Water Association, and a distinguished member of the American Society of Civil Engineers, among many other organizations. A noteworthy humanitarian, Rao has provided technical assistance to over 25 countries on 6 continents. He is passionate about transferring his knowledge and expertise in environmental protection to developing countries and has done so at his own personal expense. May I ask that you direct your attention to the screen one final time this evening.
Hi, I'm Rao Surampali. I graduated from Oklahoma State University in 1978 with a degree in environmental engineering. I was born in a small town called Jahirabad, which is in Telangana, part of southern India, not a big town, but it had a nice school. So I studied here until 6th grade, then I moved on to a larger school in a big town. I've been married for 40 years. My wife's name is Madhavi, and I have 3 children. The eldest one is Preeti's daughter, and then I have 2 boys. Those are Deepak and Samir. They're all married, so my grandchildren are 4 of them. Got admission in 3 universities. All of them were very good school, but I wanted to work with the 2 professors from Oklahoma State University who are very well known. One was Tony Gowdy and the other one was Dr. Kincan. So that's the reason I moved to Oklahoma State University. My time was great. I really enjoyed staying at Oklahoma State University. I had a research assistantship, so I worked on 3 research projects, even though my research was only on 1 topic. 2 other projects I did research was for my professors as they had the consulting work. I learned a lot during the research work, and one of my things I remember very well at Oklahoma State University is we all environmental engineering students, while working on our research project, we used to work very late, and we all used to go to student union around 8 p.m. to have a cup of tea or coffee. We did that very regularly. Staying 2.5 years at Oklahoma State, even though I was supposed to take 30 credit hours, I ended up taking 54 credit hours for my graduation, and so I ended up staying 2.5 years. So I used to take classes in summer semester also, but during summer semester I almost had 1 month, 1.5 months free. And I used to go and watch tennis. I liked the game so much I ended up taking classes. And I learned it, and now I'm a very good player in tennis. I did my master's from Oklahoma State, and then I worked for a couple of years in a consulting company. Then, after 2 years, I went back to my PhD at Iowa State University. And after doing my PhD, I worked another 2 years in a consulting company. Then I moved on to U.S. Environmental Protection Agency on a big project. And here, I worked on various things, not just one area of environmental engineering. I worked on water and wastewater treatment, solid and hazardous waste management, air pollution, many other projects. One of the important things I really enjoyed on later on years is doing a lot of research. I have a lot of research money, and so I ended up doing research on new emerging areas of environmental engineering and published a lot of papers and also got a lot of awards. There were a lot of people who had impacted my life. I had worked with many PhD students as a supervisor, almost 45 of them. And I had many colleagues who are very, very good people and taught me many things. I also learned many things from them. And all these had a big impact, particularly during my work with the USEPA, where I had interacted with a lot of professionals and also did a lot of research work. Once I started publishing a lot of papers and also getting a lot of awards, I started looking at the bios and accomplishments of big, high-level professional environmental engineers. By reading their bios and accomplishments, it motivated me a lot, and I started focusing more on the areas of work, what I wanted to do, and ended up doing research on almost 60 environmental engineering topics, and also published a lot of papers. Environmental engineering is my passion, no question about it. I really enjoyed my professional career in environmental engineering. I ended up traveling to a lot of countries on consulting work and also doing voluntary work. In the process of this, we found, my wife and me, we found traveling was very interesting. We ended up traveling to more than 60 countries, either on vacation or on our consulting work or voluntary work. And we have gone to many of these countries again and again. I have gone to one country more than 50 times. So traveling is a very big hobby now. We even do now 3-4 countries every year. The most important thing in career is you have to enjoy and like what you do. So you have to have a passion for whatever you want to do. That's more important than making money, okay? To be a successful person professionally, you have to have strong focus, determination, willpower, and perseverance. Success happens when the preparation meets the opportunity. We are all responsible for our own preparation. I had a great career in environmental engineering. I really enjoyed all my work. 42 years I worked in environmental engineering. I ended up publishing a lot of papers. I have 22 patents approved. I wrote 27 books, 200 book chapters, and published more than 400 journal articles, including over 250 presentations nationally and internationally. That helped us do a lot of travel. So these accomplishments also gave me a lot of awards. I received more than 30 national awards. That was very inspiring and helped me even to motivate more on my research work and other environmental engineering projects. For my voluntary work, I have done a lot of work internationally, traveled to more than 25 countries on all the 6 continents, provided technical assistance and also the technology transfer to many of these communities across the world. And some of my technical assistance and technology transfer led to total sustainable environmental management in these countries. And that was a big accomplishment for me. I really enjoyed this voluntary work, and I loved it traveling around the world. I really enjoyed my stay at Oklahoma State, and I stayed here good 2.5 years, which was a very long time. So I have a lot of memories of OSU campus, and I really appreciate all these awards what the Oklahoma State University gave me. Particularly, I received the award of Distinguished Alumni in 2001, and also the Hall of Fame award in 2015, and again now this award in 2024, the Lohmann medal. All these means a lot to me. Many of these awards I received from many organizations motivated me even more to do more environmental work, voluntary work, research work, which I really enjoyed throughout my life. I really appreciate and thank you very much. Go Hawks!
accept a copy of your brick and Lohmann medal, our college's highest honor, as well as to say a few words.
It has been a great journey. I'm at the end of the cycle. I'm 75 years old now, so I still do some consulting work, a couple of hours a day, and I do my daily 70-minute yoga and 52-minute walk and indoor tennis 3 times a week. That is my first priority. Okay. I really want to thank Oklahoma State University for this award. I received a lot of awards. I do go to a lot of these functions. But it means a lot when you get an award from your alma mater. And it means a lot to me from both the Iowa State as well as the Oklahoma State. It means a lot. When I should look at the video I did was my office room. The entire office room is with awards, not just one. We didn't do the circle one. But it feels good when I sit in my office, I look at all this. I did it. I feel proud of that I did it, so it's a good feeling. But first, I want to thank the most important thing in my life is my parents. They have sacrificed a lot. And my brother and me through the engineering college, they gave up many, many things, what they needed in their personal life, but instead they spent money on us, send us to the engineering college. That's a very big thing. As a proud and good son, and I took care of my both parents until they passed away. I made sure they have everything. I provided, built a very nice house for them. I had a car and two, 3 servants in the house to take care of them, and they passed away very peacefully. And that's a great. I feel very proud of my parents, Second thing, I want to thank all my PhD students. There are 45 of them. I'm still guiding 6 of them now. That would be 51 they graduate. And I also want to thank my master's students and all my colleagues in EPA, in consulting work. I worked with a lot of 3-4 consulting companies, EPA colleagues, many professors. I know all the top people in environmental engineering. You name a person, I know I have a personal connection. I can write an email and they'll respond. It's a great feeling when you connect with all these big people and work with them and accomplish. So I want to thank all those people who worked with me and helped me. I learned a lot from my students, my friends, my professors, everything that gave me a lot of knowledge, and I accomplished a lot. Last one I want to thank is my wife. We have been married for 39 years. So my wife Marvi is there. And the reason whatever I accomplished, a lot of credit goes to my wife. I used to be crazy guy working until 7, 8 in the office. That was my normal time, okay? So when I come home, the dinner was ready. And we have 3 children, and she took care of all the 3 children. Used to take them to school every day, bring them back, do all those chores, and I was here concentrating on my professional life. And that was not easy for her to go through all that thing. She was a homemaker all our life. She never worked outside the house. But because of her, all 3 kids are professionals. One is an attorney, other 2 are engineers with a BA, and they're all in very high position. Credit goes to my wife. And like I said, some days I used to be in EPA office. I was a director. Meetings were there until 4:30, and I used to go through the files, and some days there is something due next morning. And I used to work until 10. My wife used to call me, "Honey, are you going to sleep there or are you coming home?" And I used to say, "I'm very sorry, I don't have a sleeping bed here, otherwise I would have slept here." So that kind of thing, and she is the force behind me, and she did a lot of support for me. So I want to thank her. Again, thank you very much. This was a great function. I enjoyed it. It's always a pleasure to come back to Oklahoma State. We were walking this morning. I was looking for the Wilhelm Dome where I stayed. and I could not find it. The students told me that they dismantled it and built something else there. I stayed there 2.5 years. So a lot of memories, and the girls were on the other side of the dome and boys were on this side. And it was a great time. We all used to meet in the dining hall in the center and watch the TV, everything. That was a great place to be, So again, thank you very much for this honor. This is a great honor. It would be in my memories along with all those other awards I have in my office room. I really enjoy when I sit in my office, when I look at all around the circle. Oh, I got this award, I got this award, I got it. Oh, it feels so good. But I worked very hard. And thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Raul, and congratulations. Dean Huang, would you mind retaking the stage to close out the ceremony?
Okay, to all the 6 honorees, congratulations. So one more time, would you all please join me to give them another round? I noticed that there are several nominators actually in the audience here. We all know it's a lot of work to get nomination package ready. We typically do not want it to out those nominators, and particularly if the nomination didn't fly. Now we know we have 6 winners, 6 honorees. Could I ask all the nominators and the supporters for those 6 honorees, please stand up and be recognized. Thank you. Also, I think that we have really enjoyed the food. I hope your dessert goes well. In order to have this meeting so much well organized, our Dean's Office staff have worked really hard. We also have a student group, our CEAT scholars, that came to help. So could those 2 groups, the Dean's Office staff and the CEAT scholars, please stand up and be recognized. I would also like to recognize and thank Mr. I probably won't slaughter your name, Gabby Gabriel, who did the excellent video work for our inductees. Gabby, if you could please stand. Okay, before we conclude tonight's festivities, I would like to ask you if you would please place your name tag holders on tables. Housekeeping. I also kindly ask that our 6 new members, or 6 new honorees, and also your families, head to the backdrop in the traditions hall. We would like to take group pictures as well as any family pictures there. Thank you everyone for attending this 2024 Hall of Fame and Lohmann Medal ceremony. Safe travels and good night. What else do we say?